So when you come into the vehicle, what you want to do is turn on your 12-volt control panel. If you are hooked up to mains, if you're charging it at home or you're on a site, you'll have this light here which indicates that you are on mains hookup. If not, then you will just have 12 volt off your leisure battery. But to turn the 12 volt system on, you've got a master switch at the bottom on the left hand corner of the display, and that will turn on your 12 volt system. Next, you've got your pump, so making sure you've got enough water on board, you can turn your pump on. And then you do have all your other readings, so you've got your Mercedes cab battery, wastewater, fresh water, and your leisure battery. But take the hookup out to get a true reading of your leisure battery. And then obviously this one reads your engine battery. This is your Truma heating and hot water controls. So the next video is a duplicate video on how this system works. So it'll run through how to operate the heating, selecting the temperature, selecting the water, selecting the energy source, selecting the fan speed, and resetting the system should it ever come up with a warning triangle. So to operate your digital Truma CP control panel, to turn the system on and off, you'd press and hold to turn it off, press it once to turn it on and it'll come on, and then to get into the menu you just press it once. You'll notice you've got a thermometer in a van flashing at the top corner. If you press enter, this is how hot you want your vehicle. So you've got all the way off in the summer when you don't want the heating, or you've got all the way to 30 degrees in the winter when it's very cold. So once you're happy, so if we say 27 degrees there, that's how hot I want the inside of the motorhome to be, I'd press enter, and that'll save that at 27 degrees. Now you've got a thermometer in some water. This is how hot you want your water. So if you don't have any water on board, you'd have it on off. 40 degrees for showering, 60 degrees for doing your dishes, but it's entirely up to yourself how hot you want your water. Or you've got boost, which will turn off your heating and prioritize your water first. But for this we'll just say 60 degrees because we want the heating to run along with the water. Next, you've got what source you're heating the water and the vehicle off. So you've got gas, so make sure your gas bottle's on and it's turned on. You've got mix 1, which is 750 watts of electric and gas. You've got mix 2, which is 1850 watts of electric plus gas. So you'd use mix 2 in the winter. If you're away and it was really cold, use a mix 2, will boost the vehicle up to temperature because you're using both sources together. Then you can turn it over to electric. So you've got electric 750 watts EL1, and you've got EL2, which is 1850 watts of electric. Don't waste your gas if you're on a site, unless you're away and it's really cold and you're using mix 2 for the first 10-15 minutes. Then allow electric to continue to heat the motorhome and maintain the temperature. Because if you're on a site, you've paid your site fees after all, you'll not want to waste your gas. Then you've got your fan in the top right hand corner, so eco or high or boost. This is just a 12 volt assisted fan. So eco will use less 12 volt. High obviously uses more fan speed, so it's going to use a little bit more 12 volt. And boost uses full power on the fan, which is going to use the most out of the 12 volt battery. Sleep with it on eco because it's a lot quieter than sleeping with it on anything else. If you're going to sleep with the heating on in the winter, you've got a timer so you can time the heating to come on and off just the once though. Clock in the middle, and then spanner. You can go all the way down to reset, and to reset the control panel, if you ever get a warning triangle in the middle, reset, preset, click again, and it will restart your control panel. And then to turn off, press and hold, and it'll say off, and it'll completely turn itself off. So in the kitchen area, you've got 2 gas burners. So as long as the gas is on, you've got a little ignition on here as well, so you'll be able to spark the gas. Once you've had it on, allow it to cool before you put the glass lid down, otherwise you will shatter the glass. And this is the maximum size of pans you can have on both burners. Don't have anything too bigger than that, because what will happen is you'll put your pan will not heat up as quick and you'll put too much pressure on the burner. As long as the pump's on, you'll get a pressurized flow of cold water, and then if you've had the boiler system on like we have, turn it to hot and you'll start to get hot water through as that is starting to pick up the temperature there and is warm. So that is your hot water system working as it should. Above you've got your spotlights, 12 volt and 240 volt socket, and you've got some storage above, making sure that when you open the overhead lockers on the Hymer, you press the catch in to release the travel catch so you can open the door. Underneath your hob you do have your cutlery tray, but you've also got a gas isolation valve for your hob and your boiler system. So should you ever need to isolate the supply of gas to each or individual supply, you can just turn it like so, and that's it off. That's it off, and that's it on. But these are mainly for when the vehicle is annually serviced. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. Making sure that you push your catches in before you travel to secure the drawer in place so it doesn't open when you're on the road. And then you do have a large drawer at the bottom for your pans with a waste bin in here. Extension on the side there, so that just clips up, so it allows you to put your chopping board on there when you're using the hob. And then all you need to do is lift and pull. So lift, and there's this little part here you pull down and you'll be able to retract that. Lights and step here, so your step needs to be retracted before you start the engine, and you can pop it out as soon as the engine is knocked off. In the wardrobe you do have your MaxView Roam Wi-Fi system. So this is a 4G Wi-Fi system, but you do need a data only SIM card to go in it. So you can either get a pay-as-you-go one, or you can get a pay monthly one, which you get from your local phone provider, which you just need data only. This clips off, and what you'll be able to do is just unplug it there. The SIM goes in here in this little tray, but you need a pin, so it's kind of like an iPhone pin. It's like this. That slots in here and pushes, and in there's already a SIM card of the previous owner of this vehicle, but you will need to get your own SIM card to push in here. And then on the back you've got your passcode. So once you've put your pin in and activated your SIM, you'll be able to connect with your devices in the vehicle. But make sure you've got a data only SIM card in here, and if it's a pay monthly one, great, activate it. If it's a pay as you go one, make sure you've got data on and you'll be able to connect your devices. To activate your Thetford fridge, turn on and off here. And this is a 12 volt compressor fridge, so it'll work when you're off grid, off your leisure batteries, as long as they've got sufficient charge in them. And it'll also work when you're hooked up, because when you're hooked up you're charging a 12 volt battery. Temperature in the middle, so if you want to turn the temperature down, always have it on 5 when pre-chilling, but then when you put your shopping in you may have to turn it down. So what you need to do is click, let them all illuminate, then press and hold the one you want, wait till it flashes, and then you can scroll up and down and select the temperature you want. So once we put the shopping in, you probably want it on 3 or 4, as 5 can sometimes be too strong and freeze the shopping. And then finally you do have nighttime mode, which is this one here, which you can turn on. So should it be on at full performance, you can put onto nighttime mode, which lowers the decibels of it when you're using the van, and it lowers the performance of the fridge so it doesn't wake you up. When you are finished with it, what you want to do is you want to leave the door open. Clean it out, leave the door open, because if you shut the door, it's got an airtight seal on there and it's going to trap the air in and it's going to start to smell over time. So what you need to do is leave this little blue toggle, pop into the middle and just shut the door with no force. Leaves the door open and air can circulate in and out without trapping air and creating smells. In your washroom, you've got a shower curtain which comes round to block off the toilet when you're having a shower, and your shower head does come out of your tap and it'll clip up. You've just got to hold it and have a shower, and then you can slide it back down into the tap. In the winter, we always suggest that you pull it all the way out and just remove the shower head from the end here, disconnect here and leave the taps open, just so that any water doesn't freeze in that pipe or any pipes behind the assembly of the van. To operate your toilet, ensuring that the pump's on, you can press the blue button and you get some fresh water flush. Flush it before you use it, and then before you use it you want to open the blade, so you want to turn this dial, and you can see there the water's disappeared because the blade's open. Use the toilet, flush it after use, and then shut this back to the left to isolate the cassette. And when you get 3 green lights on here, the cassette is full, so you need to pull it out the side of the van, empty it, rinse it and replenish it with chemical. Bathroom lights here. Toiletry cabinet, this is your shower holder which sticks on to wherever you want, so you can actually stick it on to up here and have a shower, which is quite handy, so you don't have to hold it. And the curtain clips back behind here when you're travelling. Hanging rail from the ceiling for your wet towels, wet coats. So if you've been caught in the rain, hang your coats in here and they'll drip dry with the heating on and dry out in no time. And you do have a duck board there, so you can remove that to clean, and you can use it when you're showering as well. Underneath the double dinette seat, so you do have your fuse box. So this is your electric block unit. So this works all your 12 volt system. So all your 12 volt fuses here are accessible from the top. If a fuse does ever blow, it's just as simple as pulling it out, checking the middle. If the middle isn't intact, it's blown, and you need to replenish it with a fuse. So that's why it's a good idea to carry some spares with you, just in case a fuse does go. And down here you do have this is your boiler drain. So it's an antifreeze drain, and this will automatically drop the water at 3 degrees. So if the temperature reaches 3 degrees or less when the vehicle is stood up, not in use, the button on the side here will pop out, and when the button pops out, so if the button pops out on the side here, it means it's automatically drained the 10 litres off in the boiler, because we recommend that you drain it down in the winter so that the water doesn't freeze. However, if you are parking it up before the temperatures reach that cold, what I would always do is turn the diamond on the top. When you turn the diamond, the button at the bottom pops out and the water drains out underneath the van. Leave it open like this. Open this here as well, which drains off your hot water lines, and that gets rid of all the water inside the vehicle. However, when you come to reuse it, you want to turn the diamond and push the button in at the bottom. If the button doesn't stay in, heat the area first by just putting the heating on without the water. Give it 10-15 minutes. As the boiler's further back, this area will get warm, and then push the button in. The button should stay in, then you'll be able to fill the boiler up by going to the hot side of the tap once you fill the van up with water and priming it through until you get all the pressurise of the water through the tap. When it stops coughing and spluttering, do one tap, do them all, and then your system's primed. But please drain all your systems down, so all your taps, your boiler and you freshen your waste tanks to avoid frost damage, which could damage pipework, tanks and the boiler if water was to be left in the vehicle over the winter. Behind the passenger seat, just in front of your dinette seat here, you do have your fuse board on mains electric. So if you trip the van out, try here before you try your main site. And if you think you're not receiving power, try tripping the vehicle. If the vehicle trips, you've got power. If it doesn't trip, it's not the vehicle. The vehicle physically isn't receiving power. It could be the lead or the way you're getting the power from. But this is your trips in case you do trip the vehicle. So to operate your Mercedes entertainment system, which is MBUX, you've got your phone here, so you can connect the phone by just pressing connect device, and it'll search for a new device, and you want to find MBUX 71725, which is the device name of the van. On your phone, hit pair, it'll ask if your contacts want to be synced, press allow and sync your contacts, and it will automatically download your phone book into the vehicle, and you'll be able to make a telephone call when on the road. And you can pair two phones at any one time with Mercedes, which is a great feature if there's two of you in the vehicle. Sat nav, hit the sat nav, you can see where you are physically are at the moment. So we're on the 692, but if you go where to, you can pop in where you want to go, or you can scroll down. You can search parking, restaurants, filling stations. Especially handy if you're low on diesel, you can find your nearest fuel garage. Your radio is FM AM, and you can press 1 to 20 to save your favourite radio stations. You can search your stations here, so you can enter your station that you want or your frequency, and you can view your list there, so you can scroll through and see all your stations that the vehicle has found. Media would be, if your Bluetooth was connected, you can stream off your phone if you're using Apple Music, Spotify, or you've got songs on your phone, or you can insert a USB which goes in the top here. So you've got in the both USB-C, so you'll need adapters if you're using a standard memory stick or standard phone charger, or if you can buy the USB-C chargers, great, that'll allow that to work. And obviously if you are using USB, you've got to hit USB on the top. Info, so that just tells you your engine, your consumption, and you've got an online owner's manual here, so you can just click into there and it's all through the screen. So you can, if there's something that you're struggling with, you can actually go in here on the MBUX system and have a look. Settings in there, so you can change your settings, which is all explained in your handbook. So your lane assist, your active braking, your vehicle. So if you're putting winter tyres on, you can change that. Your rear view camera, automatic locking lights system, so on. You can change your audio, sound and things like that. But this, with it being Mercedes, it's got a great feature. So you can say, hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Navigate me to the Metro Centre.
No results were found. What can I do for you?
Navigate me to the Metro Centre. So there, I've asked it to navigate to the Metro Centre. So when you're driving, you can set the sat.
Could you repeat your input? I will show you the way.
So there you go, you just got to press it and it'll start to direct you all through voice command. On off, van settings, back and home, volumes on the scroll in the middle, changes the sources here, and you can go to your parking camera by just pressing this button here. You can also hit here and voice command comes in by pushing up, and you can, otherwise you've just got to say the command and the system will kick in.